This is going to be my first video about community interactions. Of course, species interact within a community, and we can sort of classify these interactions into two groups. There can be intraspecific interactions, which are interactions occur between two members of the same species. So, for example, competition for a mate. There can also be interspecific interactions, which will occur between two different species. For example, that'll be a predator-prey relationship. We're going to mostly be focusing on interspecific interactions. Predation is the act of one organism killing another for food. For example, lions eating zebras, or here the shark is going after a seal. Another example, snakes eating mice, or in the natural selection case that I drew, fat grasshoppers. Parasitism is when one organism feeds on and or lives in another organism. The organism that's being fed on or lived in is frequently called a host. Examples of parasites are lice, fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, tapeworms, lampreys, etc. A lot of organisms attempt to evolve defenses to this predation and or parasitism. One defense can be camouflage. So here I have a couple pictures of camouflage. That's where one organism attempts to blend in with its surroundings. We can also have warning signs. So a poisonous organism might have bright coloration to show that it is poisonous. And there can also be mimicry, where one organism attempts to look like a poisonous organism to gain fitness, even though it may or may not actually be poisonous. There are two types of mimicry. There's Batesian mimicry, where a harmless organism mimics a poisonous one, in which case this increases the fitness of harmless organism, while, I'm going to continue this down here, decreasing the fitness of poisonous organism. It increases the fitness of the harmless one because, let's just say, a predator tries a poisonous one, it gets sick, and then it comes across the harmless one, but it looks like the poisonous one. Therefore, the harmless one get eaten. That's an increase in fitness. However, let's say that poison experience, it gets watered down when not all the organisms are actually poisonous, so that decreases the fitness of the poisonous organisms. There's also Malarian mimicry, where two poisonous organisms mimic each other, and this increases the fitness of both. So Batesian mimicry, where one that's poisonous and one that's not. There's a viceroy butterfly that mimics the monarch butterfly, which is poisonous, or distasteful rather. There's a coral snake and a king snake. One is venomous and one is not. Malarian mimicry, there's a cuckoo bee and a yellow jacket. Again, so here both of them will harm you. Other forms of mimicry, these organisms, a moth and a caterpillar, are not mimicking something that's poisonous, but they are mimicking just other organisms that might be larger, so as something doesn't go after them. There's also a specific fish that mimics like a fish that's like a cleaner fish, but it doesn't actually clean. It then becomes a predator, which is sort of interesting. Other defenses that are not like camouflage, mimicry, or warning signs. Plants can make defensive chemicals to prevent herbivores from eating them. So, for example, poison ivy obviously produces its toxin as a defense.